Hi there. Welcome to the Zone Performance Psychology YouTube channel. My name is Trevor, and this is John Stevenson. And John Stevenson is a registered psychologist here in the Edmonton area. And today our topic is why ADD goes undiagnosed in females. Okay, so John, I do have a quick quote here from Debbie Phelps. That's the mom of Michael Phelps.
Hero of mine.
Yeah, he's an amazing Olympian. Of course, he's won most gold medals, I think, out of any Olympian, period. And just an amazing guy. Also had ADHD, right?
Yes.
The diagnosis made me want to prove everyone wrong. I knew that if I collaborated with Michael, he could achieve anything he set his mind to. And that's from a mom who would know.
And for me, it just reinforces that focus, concentration, it's a skill. And the ability to focus is a muscle.
Yeah.
And the latest, research over the last decade has talked about the neuroplasticity of the brain.
Right.
And that we can shape it, we can mold it, and that we can do it. We don't have to be reliant on external sources. So there's all sorts of different things, whether it be mindfulness, whether it be doing cognitive perceptual training, neurofeedback. There's all sorts of things that we can do as individuals to improve our ability to focus. And then what we'll talk about today is what are some things that we don't want to be doing that can also hurt our ability to focus, that often don't get taken into consideration, especially when you're doing an ADHD assessment.
Yeah, and that's excellent. That's why I really enjoy working with you. I've learned so much over the last bit about all the different tools that you use to help retrain the brain and get it, rewired so that it's more efficient, more effective. You can reason and you can make decisions quicker and better. And I'm really excited about this. And I think that people who are watching will really gain some insight as to how we can do this without necessarily using narcotics or medications, but using natural remedies that are backed by science.
Well, and I might be jumping a little bit here ahead, Trevor, but for example, I'm not against the I'm not an anti-pharmaceutical approach.
Of course.
But for example, two big things that have really come to my office in the last few weeks is screen time. And what a lot of people don't realize is that screen time, ADHD brains are way more vulnerable to screen time. Call of Duty, Minecraft, Fortnite, social media. That's what, unfortunately, you use social media, guys. You want to get our attention.
Well, yeah, the people who create these platforms use the same type of people and same type of technology that they use in casinos for the slot machines and so forth. Grab your attention. How do we grab that attention and hold that attention, right?
And then what happens is the brain gets rewarded, and they get these, serotonin, dopamine, and literally I would encourage everybody, if they haven't watched it right now, especially families should sit down together and with their children and watch The Social Dilemma. And I think it will bring a new light, in terms of literally what these companies are doing is they're programming us.
Yeah.
And we weren't even aware of it. And what really blew me away with that show was this wasn't, guys in the bottom of the totem pole in these companies. These were guys that were, making tremendous amounts of money, and they left because of the ethical and the moral things that they saw going on. But screen time, like just for example, the blue light, that depletes melatonin. And if you're not getting a deep restorative sleep, whether you have ADHD or not, what's going to happen to your ability to focus the following day at work or at school or on the ice surface or playing surface? If you're not getting that good, deep, restorative sleep, your ability to regulate your emotions is going to, be compromised.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we've seen, and I think where people might be getting undiagnosed or even in the treatment procedure, is the more screen time that client has from a pharmaceutical, they have to offset that. So it'd be like if I'm, working out, but I'm eating beer and wings afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, they cancel each other out. And so the first thing I would let people know is when you're doing an assessment or treatment, like I had a young gentleman yesterday, he was literally doing 4 hours of Call of Duty
Oh, wow.
prior to going to sleep. And then mom said, yeah, we had to increase melatonin. Well, that's a Band-Aid. And that's why, so the following day, he's very sleepy in the classroom. There's more delta theta brainwave activity, which is making it more difficult for him to focus. And it becomes this vicious cycle. And that's where, again, like addressing
Yeah.
that issue. I saw this study, Trevor, in Taiwan, like that right now, the vast majority of males under the age of 20 have glasses because of eye degeneration issues, because they're the amount of screen time.
I did not know that.
Like that just absolutely blew me away. There was a study that came out through the U of A a couple of years ago, literally showing that ADHD-like symptoms dramatically increased for children that were having more screen time than 2 hours per day. So I'm not saying that screen time causes ADHD, but because the ADHD brain is more vulnerable, it can exasperate.
Right.
And, like for example, as much as I believe in our program,
Yeah.
if there's a lot of screen time, it can actually reverse the effects of what we're doing. So if we're not looking at screen time, and I think, when we look at making a comprehensive assessment and treatment program, we have to come at it from a bio, psycho, social model. We have to look at it from a holistic point of view. The other factor that comes in is sleep, right? And sleep, you want to make sure over 50% of ADHD clients are mouth breathers while they're sleeping. And it's often not asked. And this is a really critical question that needs to be asked when you're doing an assessment and also treatment. Because, I'm really encouraging parents that when they see their child sleeping at night, to observe, are they breathing in and out of their mouth, or are they breathing in and out of their nose? And nasal breathing is king for sleep, because you're getting the deep restorative REM sleep, plus you're also getting good blood flow to the brain, good blood flow to the muscles, and that's contributing to that, enhanced focus the following day and being able to regulate their emotions. So those are some of the things, again, I think that we need to be mindful of when we're looking at our treatment programs and our assessment programs.
Oh, that's excellent, John. You brought up a lot of really good points, and I think that the more that we do these videos and we're able to educate people even more on these types of things and programs, that I think it's going to catch on even more as in Edmonton, and not only here but other parts of the country too.
Well, we just did a presentation the other night, and again, I want to really emphasize, especially in this program, that I'm not here to tell people what to do.
Right.
What I want people to do is have all of the information, so that they can make a good, informed choice as to what treatment program is going to work best for them.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, they've made that good, informed decision, and that's going to work for their situation. And that's, I think, often there's a lot of information. So, for example, this past week, I had a child who came in who had been given a diagnosis of ADHD, and the question I always ask is, how was that assessment done? What were the specific instruments that were done that made that diagnosis? Well, really at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to, rip another psychologist, but the primary instrument that made the diagnosis was a psychoeducational assessment. And I think that's critical, absolutely critical, in terms of looking at academic strengths, weaknesses, looking at behavioral issues at school. But to only use that as the one measure, I don't think it's